Welcome to the Jones Review. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Jones Review today. This is B. Jones coming at you in the latest in entertainment news. Everyone better buckle up because it's going to be a great episode. On today's episode, I'm guesting as myself today, and also we'll be covering. The views and opinions of the Jones Review do not reflect the views and opinions of Wright State Radio, Wright State University, nor their entities. And you are now live on the Jones Review. You can participate by calling or contacting this number at 937-775-5555 or by live chat within the show. In today's episode, we will be covering Superman and Lois, Loki, and I'll be talking about majority of the other half about E3 and E3 predictions today. So hopefully you guys tune in, and you are now live on the Jones Review. So also I forgot to introduce Patrick. He will be substituting Scotty as my producer today.
Yeah, so Scotty's enjoying the day at a comedy routine, I think he said. He's also recovering from his second vaccination as well. So he's out for the day, taking the day off, and I'm taking over for him.
So I appreciate Patrick for doing this for me today, because if he wasn't here, I wouldn't have been able to do my show for today. So thank you, Patrick, for being on the show with me today.
No problem.
And how are you doing, by the way?
I'm wired on caffeinated tea right now.
Caffeinated tea, that's where it's at for sure, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to start on my first review today on Superman and Lois. So Superman and Lois is a different take on Superman that we haven't seen before on any adaptation on TV or movies, except for comic books, until now. The show shows and tells different tones of Superman and Lois as their characters develop over time, and also they have kids on the show named Jonathan and Jordan Kent. And Jonathan is more like Clark Kent, Superman, with his qualities and everything, and Jordan is the opposite, the way they've all been raised. And just the way the show comes and as it develops over time, the cinematography and the screenplay is well done. It looks like a movie than a TV show for CW. Well done, because all their other shows, for some reason, every time they start strong on the first two seasons, then after that, the writing starts to get sloppy after season 2, and season 3, season 4 starts to get really messed up. But anyways, the characters are well developed. The characters on the show, they're well done and different, and they have their own story to tell on the show. And as they grasp you with your attention as a viewer, each character tells a story that you haven't seen before on any other Superman content. And there's so many surprising characters that are regular characters that you didn't think were going to be this type of character. There's other characters that come from other different worlds, and they have their own story to tell, even though I keep saying that. But also, out of 4 to 5 stars, I would give this show a 4 out of 5 stars, because this show the quality of it is amazing, and Superman and Lois it shows a different side of Superman that we haven't seen before on TV. And for Lois, I think it develops her character a lot better too, because it shows a different side to her that you haven't seen on the movies either. But I also like the fact that they added the kids as a part of the equation too on the show, and it basically shows Superman as a father. And you haven't seen him as a father. You've seen him as a superhero who he's worrying about how he controls his life as Superman and Clark Kent. But it also shows he has to balance family life too. And that's even, it's added to the equation too, which makes it harder for him to save people and everything. But there's one conversation that I was having with my uncle, or one of my uncles, and he was saying how Superman is the villain of the show because he has to balance family life, superhero life, and his own life too. And there's I think he made a point that Superman isn't saving a lot of people on the show, and it's just he's basically choosing his family over saving people in a way. And then yeah, I thought it was a funny point.
If you don't mind,
About.
if you don't mind, if I ask a couple of questions.
Oh yeah, of
what
course.
What are your thoughts on Superman specifically, but like any superhero, trying to balance the priorities of family life and saving the world?
Right.
What do you think about that, especially with as you mentioned, Superman's take on kind of prioritizing family life over absolving crime?
I would say it's a good way to basically show that Superman chooses family, and I think
Mm,
that's very important because family is always important, and they will love you no matter what and who you are. And Superman, he has kids, and basically he hasn't been there because he's been Superman, and he hasn't told his kids that he's Superman until like the first episode.
hmm
So basically, it's hard for him to show affection and to be there for his kids when he's Superman. But along the way on the show, he shows that he will do whatever it takes to spend quality time with his kids and to show love and to care about them. And then also, Jordan starts to develop powers of his own. But, it's basically the way Jordan's powers develop is basically showing like like a dark take or a dark tone to the Smallville from the original TV show, and I think it's well done, and I think Clark Kent, that Superman on the show, is doing his best to spend quality time with his kids and family. So
Very cool.
yeah, but also Superman and Lois is that type of show that you can just relax and chill and watch on every Tuesday it comes on, or you can catch it on the CW app that it comes on after the episode airs on the next day. So you can catch that on the CW. So also if you guys want to participate, you can call the number at 937-775-5555 or by live chat. I'm interested in what you guys have been watching lately. If you guys would like to participate and call in or send a chat or a message on the live chat on YouTube or Discord or in the right state, WWSU radio station site. So, but anyways, I'll continue on to my next review soon, and we're gonna switch over to Loki. So Loki takes place after the events of Avengers Endgame, and Loki streams on Disney Plus, of course. So basically, Loki is all about how basically Loki goes into or differs from a different timeline and basically goes to an alternate timeline to where Loki meets this organization called the TVA. And they're basically timekeepers that keeps time going or flowing correctly in the path that it should be in the sacred timeline. And basically, they're trying to prevent Loki from creating all these time variants. And time variants on that show, it explains it in the first episode, but I'll explain it. So basically, the TVA, they're basically timekeepers of the timeline, and they had these three celestials who controlled the flow of time. But basically, time was split into multiple realities, so they're trying to keep it into one sacred timeline, one straight flow timeline.
hmm
And basically, the Celestials made this corporation, the TVA, to keep time flowing and make sure that it's in the proper timeline and it doesn't deviate from the different timelines. And also, it explained how if a certain person deviates from their decisions or the regular decisions that they usually make or from their path, it basically creates time variants, different versions of themselves. And it also explained how if that time variant fights another version of you, it basically creates a multiverse war that they were talking about. And
Interesting.
it kind of foreshadows like a lot of content that comes on the Marvel TV shows and movies in the MCU, but I kind of like that take on the show. Well, my problem is that I don't like the character Loki because I never liked him in any adaptation of the comic books or animated TV shows. But in the movies, of course, they're showing he has feelings and emotions and he cares about people in a way, in his own way. But I kind of liked how it kind of develops Loki as a character and shows that he doesn't really like hurting people, but he explains why he's the god of mischief.
Mhm.
And I kind of like how they kind of torture and torment Loki on the first episode because it kind of shows Loki's mistakes and what he has been doing to people. And it kind of, it kind of makes fun of him a little bit. I kind of laugh and it's just, I'm like, cool, Loki kind of deserves that because, it just, why do you like Loki? I mean, I'm sure that Loki has his own fan base and people like Loki, but I never really liked Loki as a character. But Tom Hiddleston does an amazing job with developing this character over the years, and you'll see that character develop on the show. And also, certain elements to the show too. Basically, they kind of treat the Infinity Stones like they're just low class, and literally the TVA makes Loki like he's powerless, and basically it's a magicless place, and you can't use the Infinity Stones at all. And the Infinity Stones were from the last two Avengers movie that came out, Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, and it had this main villain called Thanos, and he used these Infinity Stones to change the whole universe.
Mhm.
So basically, the Infinity Stones consist of reality, power, time, and space, and then the Mind Stone, and everything. And basically, they had like the Infinity Stones at the TVA, and then Loki was trying to escape from the TVA. All of a sudden, he talks to this guy, and who's trying to escape and everything, and he told Loki, we just use those as temporary Infinity Stones. Basically, other people makes it seems like it's a paperweight and everything. I was like, Infinity Stones are like powerful on
Gonna
the
say.
yeah, and like they're making them seem like they're nothing, and it's just making Thanos like a low class villain now. I'm like, wow. So it kind of changes because Kevin Feige, who's the president of Marvel Studios, he was explaining that Loki will have a huge impact on the MCU coming forward. Also, Falcon Winter Soldier did that too, but Loki will have a huge impact because of this multiverse storyline that they're doing on the MCU. And I guess Loki counts because the storyline consisted of WandaVision, Spider-Man No Way Home, which hasn't come out yet, and then Doctor Strange Madness of the Multiverse, which hasn't also come out yet. But I guess Loki will be added to that equation too. But also Loki, the first episode is great, and I watched it again with my father last night. It's a good watch too, again to watch again. But excuse me. Also, the episodes will be streaming every Wednesday, and you can catch on Disney Plus. So Loki is a great show that you guys should check out for sure. And my rating that I would give it a 4 out of 5 because the screenplay is well done. The CGI is out of this world for sure because there's this scene where Loki is walking with Agent Mobius, who's played by Owen Wilson. And of course, Loki's like, is this magic? As he sees the TVA location and setting, and it looks amazing. Like technologically, like it looks very advanced for that CGI, and you can see like a whole new world out there basically on the show. So you see like all these flying cars and see all these buildings, and it looks amazing. So I gotta say, Loki is a great show to watch for sure, and hopefully you guys are excited for all the next episodes that are coming out soon. So hope you guys stay tuned, and it'll be on Disney Plus. So that is Loki for you.
Question. You had mentioned that the president of Marvel Studios had mentioned that Loki will play a big role in the future in this
Yes.
multiverse concept.
Yes.
What are your personal theories as to what they're going to have Loki do in this multi-universe concept?
I I think that they're trying to tell that multiverse storyline, but I think they're trying because Loki has a huge fan base. Like people weren't expecting it, but I wasn't expecting it. But Loki has a huge fan base to where it basically gave him his own show,
Hmm.
and then as he has his own show, they basically placed him in this storyline to where basically Loki will have multiple versions of himself that he will face on the show, and it kind of will foreshadow of a multiverse war that will happen in the MCU, basically. If that answers your question.
That
Yeah,
seems a very plausible path, and I think
yeah,
that would be pretty cool if they did that, especially considering that would be a great way for Loki to kind of reflect on his past and what he's done,
hmm
and then kind of go at war with himself, so to speak. That would be pretty interesting.
yeah, and it basically shows that he is at war with himself too,
Hmm.
and it kind of shows that he reflects on what he has done over the years as Loki, basically, and he kind of questions himself, like, what am I really doing as the god of mischief? So I
Hmm.
thought it was an interesting take on Loki for sure, and it wasn't a take that I was looking for or expected of Loki, and you know I'm just excited for what they're gonna tell on this story for the multiverse and everything, and basically well they're trying to show like different incarnations of the Avengers and different Marvel characters in the future, and I'm excited to see that too. Um, that's gonna probably show like in Spider-Man: No Way Home, and then Doctor Strange's Madness of the Multiverse soon. But hopefully that it will it'll change the MCU for sure. So I'm excited for
Nice.
that. But are you have you do you have Disney Plus, Patrick?
I do not, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, if you ever get Disney Plus, then I would recommend Loki for you to watch.
I might watch some clips of Loki on the internet once it comes out. I know some people will probably post clips of the movies and things like that. Unfortunately, like with my budget, I wouldn't be able to get the actual movies and a subscription, but I'll definitely check out some clips
Sure.
'cause it sounds like an interesting character.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's a character that you can like or hate, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, he's the villain basically too, but
Hmm.
it's a character that over the years he created a name for, or the actor created a name for himself with this character.
Hmm.
And, it's just Loki is kind of like the villain of Thor basically. He's the opposite of Thor. I mean, he's his brother too, but he just does mischief stuff, he he basically tortures people, kills them, or he likes it too. I mean, and on the show it shows that he doesn't like it, but in the movies he likes it in a way. But
Interesting.
he changes, like his character evolves over time, and he kind of just I don't know how to explain it, but he will become a better character like as the
So
movies go on.
they're thinking about having some sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Not revival. Re- redemption.
Yeah, like a redemption story for
Yeah.
Loki. Yeah, I think this is that type of redemption story because on the show he doesn't. After I don't want to give too much away, but they basically they showed Loki that you can do a lot better, and you can do a lot better with your abilities and be a better person. And
Hmm.
he started to notice that now, and he's trying. Well, what he's trying to do, he's trying to claim his throne, and his throne consists of Midgard, which is Earth, and he's trying to take over Earth on the first Avengers movie. So that's what definitely happened for sure. So, do you have any
Very cool.
questions for Loki, or do you have any questions about Superman and Lois?
Uh, I don't think so. I found that interesting take with the seeing Superman from the side of how he has to take care of his family in addition to solving crime, and I think that's something that was not really given to light in Marvel and DC movies up until this point.
Mm,
Um, because I mean, just because somebody is a superhero doesn't mean they don't have other responsibilities. I
right.
thought that was interesting to showcase that and how they juggle their responsibilities, um, especially when it comes to solving crime. And then the whole dilemma of, which one takes priority? Does my family take priority or does saving the city take priority? I
Right.
thought that was an interesting take.
Yeah, I liked how they really changed the way Superman is on the show because it shines a different tone of Superman. It shows that he really cares about his family no matter what. And, he has to also look out for the world and everything and saves people too, but that's hard to juggle, honestly. But in a way he can be there at two places at once, but not all the time.
Yeah.
But it really shows how difficult it is to really how Superman has to save the world and also spend time with his family. So
I think it's quite relatable, especially to real life. We may not be quote unquote superheroes, but
right,
we have to juggle our own responsibilities as well. So I thought that was pretty cool.
it is for sure, definitely. Well, if anyone wants to chime in and talk about anything that they would like to talk about within TV shows, or movies, or video games, let me know. You can contact us at 937-775-5555 or by live chat on YouTube or Discord or WWSU radio station website.
Just a curious role play question.
Hmm.
How would you feel if you were the child of Superman? Like
Okay.
what would
Okay.
life be like for you as the child of Superman?
That'd be a great question, Patrick. Well, if I was child of Superman, that would be an interesting take because I would feel like I was left out of being a son of Superman or son of Clark Kent, and it would seem like he was not there for me and everything, and
Mhm.
it would just seem one sided with if my mom was Lois Lane and everything, but
Mhm.
it would seem one sided and uh, every time I would get my hopes up that Clark Kent or Superman was going to be there for me, like at an important event or like a game. Maybe he might be there, it might not, or he's there, but he kind of left last minute
Mhm.
before everything starts to get good for or like a great moment or event.
Mhm.
But I think it'll be hard, just to be the son of Superman or son of any superhero, in my opinion. So,
I can imagine, and even kind of tying that story into real life. You have fathers and mothers who spend so much time at their occupation or doing what they do to put food on the table that they often forget to spend time with their family. And I think that the Superman story is a big reminiscent of that.
I totally agree with that, Patrick, because it just shows a different side of Superman, and it shows that they also have families and a life that they have to live too, but they also have to balance that.
Hmm.
And it, of course, in real life, with parents and everything, they sacrifice a lot for their kids and sacrifice money, time, and quality with them just so they can love them and care about them and want their kids to succeed in life and to improve themselves. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you were the son of Superman, how would you feel?
I think I would be pretty similar. On one hand, I would be very happy for my father being, this really cool guy that saves the world and things like that, and
Right.
does what he does. And uh, as a kid, I would probably, how kids have this, curiosity for extraordinary things,
Hmm.
and Superman has superpowers
Right.
basically. So as a kid, I would be very um, awe-stricken, I guess you would say. At, oh, my dad is so cool; he has the superpowers. But then at the same time, uh, as I grow up, I would realize that he's not spending very much time with me as the child, and that would kind of start turning into, I guess, a parent-child conflict, especially as I would get into my teen years. Because just thinking, kind of tying in that story with real life, I kind of think that's where it would go. Like maybe not so much my child years, because as a child, you don't have much of a concept of family just yet. But as you grow older and start hitting your teen years, then you start reflecting back on, you know, my father wasn't really there for me when I was doing this and this and this, and So you begin to understand what's going on,
Right.
and then kind of reality check there for you.
Yeah, pretty much. Like right back to reality right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if anyone would like to participate, please let us know. So next we will be on to our next review, which is Marvel's MODOK. Have you heard of MODOK?
I have
Before?
not, honestly, no.
Okay. Well, MODOK is a Marvel villain, and basically this is a TV show, and it basically consists of the villain MODOK, who is a Marvel villain, and he stood against the Avengers and all these other Marvel superheroes, basically. But MODOK is streaming on Hulu if you guys haven't checked it out yet. But MODOK basically is a different take on the supervillain. MODOK looks like a guy who's in a hover chair and looks like I would say a mic or a golf ball. The way he looks, like he has a big brain, and then he has purple legs and arms, and he's just floating in a hover chair, basically, that's supporting his body.
So kind of like a mastermind villain?
Yes.
Nice.
Yep. And MODOK, he has these like telekinesis powers, or he also controls like technology and robots, and he's also like one of the smartest minds in that universe, in the Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
But on this show, it puts a different take on MODOK, but more of a comedic route of it. And it's he's voiced by Patton Oswalt. You know who that is?
I don't, unfortunately, no.
Okay. Well, he's voiced by Patton Oswalt, and basically MODOK, he also has a family too. It's also a funny version of MODOK, and he has a family that he has a wife and 2 kids, and he's running AIM, which is Idea Advanced Mechanics or something, and Marvel, and basically it's AIM is like a part of Hydra, which is they fight against superheroes and stuff, and they also have AIM minions, and then they also have Monica, who is also a supervillain too. But it's just a different take on MODOK as a character, and the animation kind of looks like Robot Chicken a little bit with Seth Green. Have you heard of Robot Chicken?
I have seen Robot Chicken before, yeah.
Yeah, it has that same animation to it as Robot Chicken, excuse me. And it just it also it's kind of gory too, and it has some funny jokes added to it. And as you watch each episode, the episodes just get insane. There's an episode where MODOK goes back in time and he meets his past self, or there's another episode where they also have Iron Man on one of the episodes, and then there's another episode where they have Wonder Man, who's like he's a popular Marvel character, but not really well known. But he's well known in the comics and animations, but it's not a well known character that people will know.
Like in the movies, and TV.
Yeah,
I see where you're going.
Yeah,
because I haven't heard of him either.
Yeah, but he wears like a black shirt, and he's muscular, and he has like red bracelets. But his superpowers are that he has like super strength. He can absorb nuclear or radiation, basically, and makes it his own power. And that's Wonder Man. So.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. But also MODOK is a great show. I recommend it to people if they haven't watched it. It's also streaming on Hulu, and I would give the show a 3 out of 5. And the reason why is that because I don't really care for the character MODOK, but it's an okay show at times because it kind of gets boring. It's just the way I don't think they have enough characters to support the show. I mean, they have 2 well-known characters, and then they have a lot of they also have supervillains too. Popular supervillains like Fing Fang Foom, or they have I think they also have Loki on it too. Yeah, they have Loki on it, and who else? They have the Super Adaptoid, which is kind of like a robotic system that kind of manipulates people's powers and also creates their own powers, kind of like or similar to certain superhero like Hulk or Spider-Man, or that's what the super adaptoid is. But it basically copies someone else's powers. So
Kind of like a Kirby move from Super Smash Bros.
yeah, yep, pretty much. Yeah, but Modoc, I would give a 3 out of 5, and I would say it's a good watch, but at times, at certain points, it will be boring, but it is funny for sure. But it will be streaming on Hulu. I hope you guys catch it soon. So,
I think it's time,
okay,
for our top of the hour ID break.
gotcha. Well, um, we will be back, everyone, and I hope you guys stay tuned for the Jones review.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Meep, meep.
Welcome to the Jones Review.
Welcome back to the Jones Review, everyone. This is B. Jones coming at you in the latest entertainment news. Well, here we are going to be talking about E3, the big game convention, video game convention that's going to happen soon. And it will consist of many showcases that will show new gameplay or new reveals for video games in the future. Have you heard of it, Patrick?
I think I vaguely heard it mentioned in the news before that they were going to come out with a new convention. I believe it was announced a couple months ago that they were planning this. But other than that, I haven't had too many details about it.
Gotcha. Well, E3 is basically all about how they're showing new gameplay and new showcases for video games in the future, and they also show like improved futuristic graphics that look realistic to the point where they look like a real person, and having real conversations with that person too, or the characters, I should say. But E3 is now digital this year because last year because of COVID, but now it's digital. But they also have a Summer Game Fest too, which will be a part of E3, which they kind of did last year, but it was okay, but they promised many demos that weren't promised, but it was okay for sure. But also E3, they're going to have an Xbox showcase, Ubisoft Forward showcase, and also Capcom will be there. Also Bandai Namco, EA might be there, or I think they showcased their first game, Battlefield 2042. But that's the only game they showcased, and they'll show gameplay for that on June 13th. But for right now, Summer Game Fest is happening right now, actually. They showcased a couple games called Wonderlands, which is kind of a spinoff to Borderlands. Have you heard of Borderlands?
I think I have, yes. I have not played it, though.
Yeah, but they showcased a spinoff from Borderlands, Wonderlands, and it basically includes this character named Tiny Tina, who's like a popular side character from the first Borderlands and everything, and she's getting her own spinoff, basically. Or no, it's called Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. That's what it is, because she added her own name in the trailer. It was kind of cute. Everything.
Tiny Tina sounds very familiar to me for some reason.
Yeah, she's one of those like crazy Borderlands characters, even though all the characters are insane and crazy, but she's one of those like cute little girls who like shoot, they shoot like multiple guns and everything. And Borderlands is a great video game series. I think I talked about that earlier in my other episodes, but they also showcased that. They also showcased a game called Evil Dead with Ash Williams, and I seen that. And then they had Hiro Kojima, I think I'm saying that right, who made the Metal Gear games. He was showcasing his Death Stranding director's cut, which is I played Death Stranding. It wasn't that good of a game in my opinion, because it's kind of it felt like a simulator for like being a mailman or mail deliverer. Because every time, like each mission, you had to deliver a package, and you had a choice to like ride bikes ride motorcycles or ride a truck or drive a truck, I should say. And then you had like a little backpack to where you carried your cargo. And there's times where, you carried your cargo, you carried too much cargo or shipment, and you would fall over, or it'd be too much weight on you, you're just shaking and everything when you're playing Death Stranding. And also with Death Stranding, they also have ghosts, or they call them PTs. Yeah, which are like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like it doesn't seem like a post-apocalyptic world, but it is. And it basically has people who can see these ghosts or see PTs, but they also have a different world, which is crazy. And it's like cover it all in like black goo or something. That's weird.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a mix of everything in that game, and it's just I played it. It was kind of cool. I mean, it has certain elements of Metal Gear in it, but like it was a Metal Gear game.
Mhm.
But Death Stranding, I would say it was an okay game. I guess I'll do a review for it. Might as well. But it was okay game to the point where I'll give it a 2 out of 5 stars because I mean the graphics were really out of this world, and the graphics were great to the point where they're realistic, and you can actually see Norman Reedus. Have you heard of him as an actor?
Reedus. That sounds familiar. I can't.
He's
put
on The
my finger
Walking
on it.
Dead.
That's probably where I
Yeah.
heard him from. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in that game, and they also have I think Guillermo del Toro, I think, who also directs like the Hellboy movies and all these other movies. He's on there, and they also got Mads Mikkelsen, I think, in that game too.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, sorry, but
alright.
anyways, but they have a lot of great talented actors in that game, and I would say it's okay game for sure. But they also showed that at Summer Game Fest, and also Jeff Keighley, by the way, is a guy who hosts the Video Game Awards and Summer Game Fest. And I remember one time he was on a show called I think Just Click or G4. It was like a show where it conducted like video game news and like the newest like video game gameplay or announcements or like just news about a certain game being delayed or worked on and everything. But Jeff Keighley is like a well-rounded video game host dash journalist in a way, and he also plays video games with celebrities too. And they
Oh,
also
nice.
showcased that too. I think he was playing video games with Hannibal Burns. He's like a comedian. I forget what game that they were playing, but he was just playing video games like any normal guy who play video games, or normal person, I should say. But summer.
Did they have the Doritos and the Mountain Dew set up?
No, I didn't see that. I was a bit surprised. I mean, they had their headphones on for sure, and they had like the little screen to showcase that they were streaming everything. But it's pretty funny. But yeah, they didn't have the Doritos nor the Mountain Dew on the side. But yeah, that's always like the classic setup for like playing video games for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But Summer Game Fest, I would say it definitely was improved on because they had Amazon to present it basically. So
Mm.
that was our Prime Gaming, I should say, but it's basically Amazon company or
I had
sub.
no idea Amazon had Prime Gaming. That's interesting.
Yeah, Prime Gaming consists of like PC games, a lot of PC games and regular console games too. I think Jeff Keighley announced that they have like Battlefield 4 for free. You can just play it for free there, and they have all these like other games that they sponsor and showcase too. They also have like skins or like certain like rewards that you can get with Prime Gaming or something if you subscribe to it. I think it's a free subscription, but I think it consists of like video games and just showcasing like skins or something. But I think it's cool. Prime Gaming is pretty cool. So, but also Summer Game Fest also showed Elder Ring or something. I think it's called that. But yeah, Elder Ring, and they showcased Overwatch 2, which is like a popular game. It's kind of like a phase basically, but it was they're making a second one, and they were showcasing the characters and the graphics and explaining the character. And then also they had Hiro Kojima, and then Summer Game Fest took over about a good 4 hours. Basically, it was a really long show from 2 to 6. Yeah, 4 hours, but it was really a lot better than last year. Because last year Summer Game Fest, they showcased games every day, but it was mainly indie games because certain popular video game companies didn't have anything to showcase with COVID, and they kind of delayed every single game and movie basically. But it was better improved on, and I think it's going on right now still too. They have more to showcase before the actual E3 event starts. So it was really I was impressed with it for sure. But if you guys check it out, E3 will be this weekend throughout Tuesday, June 12th through the 15th. And they'll have Ubisoft Forward. Capcom will be there. Also, I think Nintendo might be there. But Xbox is the main event of E3. And I'm sure that they have, example, Halo Infinite to showcase. And I have predictions for it too because I'm really excited for this. Also heard Warner Brothers Games, WB Games, won't be there because they have a whole slot of video games to showcase, but they won't be there. They had Hogwarts Legacy, which is like a Harry Potter game, and then they had many DC games like Gotham Knights, which included the Bat Family with Batman, and then they had Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, and I think that was about it for their video game slots that they were going to showcase. But they won't be there this year, which is kind of a shame. And then they will also have, EA might be there, but I think they're showcasing their games, but they won't have a presentation. If you know what I mean.
So kind of like they'll have a booth, but they're not going to actually be speaking, so to speak.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The games that I want them to showcase is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2 and Battlefront 3. And hopefully they showcase them. And also, I think for Ubisoft Forward, I heard that they're making a game and they might announce it, but it was like a mix of different games they made over the years, like with Splinter Cell, Division, and then Ghost Recon. So I think that hopefully they showcase that too. They also have Far Cry 6, and they might announce a new Assassin's Creed game. Have you heard of Assassin's Creed?
I haven't played it, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
I heard that they have a huge Assassin's Creed game that might be announced at Ubisoft Forward, and then hopefully they showcase more gameplay of Watch Dogs Legion's DLC. I think Bloodlines or something, where they had the original Watch Dogs character Aiden Pierce, and basically he has to go to London to figure out this new job that he's been given. So hopefully they showcase new gameplay for that. Also going back to the Xbox showcase. Hopefully they showcase new Gears of War news, because Gears of War is one of my favorite video game franchises to date, and hopefully they showcase new gameplay for that. And also Bethesda will be there too, if you heard of them.
I don't think so, no.
They make the Elder Scrolls video games and Fallout games.
Okay, I have heard of those before. Okay. I didn't know the company behind them.
Yeah. But Xbox Studios acquired them this year actually, and hopefully they showcase newer games. I also heard that they're making an Indiana Jones game too soon.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. So I think they'll showcase that too. But Xbox Studios acquired many video game studios over the years to compete with Sony, and they're just trying to compete with the quality games that Sony produces, their exclusive games. And I think Sony might have their own panel, but it's different from E3, but they won't be there. And it's called State of Play, where Sony just shows off their video games that they've been making over the years and stuff. So hopefully they have their own showcase over the weekend too. And I'm excited for Capcom because they make the Resident Evil games, Devil May Cry, and other games too. Pragmata, I'm very excited for. And Pragmata is basically like a game that it seems like Dead Space. Dead Space is like a horror game, but Pragmata, from the trailer, there was this person in a suit or like a space suit or something, and then all of a sudden there's this little girl just walking in New York City, and then all of a sudden they see like this big like scorpion thing come out of the ground, and then the space dude carries the little girl, and then they're just floating in New York, and then they go to space soon or something. So it looks cool. So hopefully they showcase that. But by the way, if anyone wants to participate, you can call the number at 937-775-5555.
We have Scotty here. He sent a message.
Scotty!
If if Bethesda announces an Elder Scrolls game, I will cry. But I think they're still wanting to milk Skyrim.
Yeah, that's what they're doing, Scotty. I mean, Bethesda has their video game franchises are built off of Elder Scrolls, Doom, Wolfenstein, and I think also Dishonored too. But it has whole franchises of video games. Also, Evil Dead. Or, no, not Evil Dead. Evil Within. Excuse me. But they will milk Elder Scrolls for sure. And Scotty, I think they might come out with they might announce, or they already announced Elder Scrolls 6, but they might announce more gameplay of it hopefully for the Xbox showcase. So I'm excited for it for sure. And just everything about E3, I'm just ecstatic for it, and it's something that E3 takes place before Comic-Con, and I was always be excited for the next thing for E3 and Comic-Con, because they're basically just new content for entertainment, basically. And, it would just be E3 Comic-Con each year, and just be excited what they're going to showcase.
Yeah.
And it's just everything that's going on with the E3, I'm excited for, and hopefully it shows. And I think they also have more panels too that I can talk about. Capcom will be there on June 14th, and I'm excited to hopefully they showcase more Resident Evil titles. I'm really excited for Resident Evil 4 remake that they announced, or that has been leaked. Microsoft and Bethesda at E3 showcase. But I'm excited that it is digital now, and there's many other games. I think there's other game companies that will be there soon. They got many games to showcase. But E3 will be streaming on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook and Twitter. I hope you guys catch it soon, because it's going to be a crazy event, and hopefully your YouTube will be blowing up over the next couple days.
Yeah.
But it is something that you can check out soon, and stay tuned for it. But for sure. Also, I'm really excited for Halo Infinite, because what they showcased last year at E3 was amazing, but the fans didn't really care for it because of the graphics, and they kind of showed the way Master Chief has evolved over the times, and he has a grappling hook now, and the weapon design's got a redesign, and I thought the graphics looked amazing too, so I'm excited for that too. Hopefully they announce Beyond Good and Evil 2, because that was teased a couple E3s ago, but they haven't really talked about it. So it's a Ubisoft game for sure. And Battlefield 2042, I'm excited for. Do you have any games that have you heard of for E3, Patrick?
Like I said, I have the only time I've heard of E3 was when they first announced it, but I haven't had the details of the games that they were going to present.
Well, they have a huge slot of games for this year, and hopefully that they showcase the games that I want to talk about. Hopefully, and also Square Enix will be there too. If you heard of them,
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, they're a game company that make the Final Fantasy games, and they made this Avengers game too, which wasn't that good either. But they're gonna showcase the War for Wakanda gameplay, and then hopefully they announce a new Tomb Raider game too, which I heard recently. But they'll be showcasing new games there, and then also they'll be having a Nintendo Direct 2021 stream times, Tuesday on June 15th, and then Bandai Namco. They make all the anime games basically.
Nice.
They make the Dragon Ball Z games. Actually, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, they just released a new DLC called The Hope of Trunks or something. It's like it's a great game, but it's the same developers that made the Naruto games too. But hopefully Bandai Namco announces like a new Dragon Ball Kakarot game, hopefully, and they're also making a Demon Slayer game too, which is also an anime show. But also they have Gorilla Collective Part 2, and they make the Horizon Zero Dawn games, and hopefully they showcase something for sure. But yeah, EA does have a conference on July 22nd on Thursday, and they will showcase their games. Oh wow, that's like next month.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty close.
that's a boot. Yeah. But yeah, I have the schedule here for E3, and it's stacked. Like it has many. Oh, E3 will be going on until next month for sure. Okay. But yeah, there's a lot to look forward to for E3. Because I want to talk about E3 because E3 has a lot in store for future games, and I'm thrilled to like hear that E3 will be happening digitally this year.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, if anyone has a question or they want to participate, you can contact us at 937-775-5555, or you can participate by typing in something into the live chat on YouTube or Discord or on the WWSU radio station. But anyways, I'll continue to talk about E3. Well, do you have any questions about the games I've been talking about, Patrick?
Not offhand. Just a general question. So
Mhm.
you had mentioned that game developers have progressed their games in such a way that the people look like real people, pretty much, and they've really improved on the graphics.
Mhm.
How have they been doing with the physics lately? Because I haven't been keeping up much with game development. And
Mhm.
I know physics, and especially fluid physics like water and goo and things like that,
Mhm.
is very challenging for game developers. How do you think that's progressed over the last couple of years?
Well, the physics they have used, they used an engine called Unreal Engine. I think 5 is the newest one,
Hmm.
but I think in 4, like they had trouble, like of course what you said, water, goo. It just the way they use the engine is incredible. The way they create worlds or characters. I know that I heard that it's hard for developers to make doors accessible at times, like to open a door when you're playing a character, or
Interesting.
to hold a door open or
Hmm.
something like as it shuts down or if you open it. But I've been hearing that it's difficult for developers to develop doors.
That's
So
interesting. I haven't
yeah,
heard that before, but I could see the challenges with that.
yeah, and also I think with Unreal Engine 5, they will be able to create many other worlds that have been created yet. It's just with certain engines that they use. I think Capcom uses Re-Engine, which it kind of gave them like a boost in graphics, but it's basically like graphics that you see will define graphics over the next decade probably. And Re-Engine basically has like these graphics that are realistic, of course. And it kind of they showed that first in the Resident Evil 2 remake, and the graphics were stunning, and it showed all the zombies detailed and the blood and gore on them and stuff, and you know that was cool. But also for Capcom, they had Devil May Cry 5, and that really showed the graphics, and you saw the detailed characters, Dante, Nero, and Virgil, and then all these other characters, and they had like the van detailed and had all these buildings detailed and stuff. So I would say video game graphics have been improved on, and I think I have a great example. Last of Us Part 2 kind of developed that over the years. With Last of Us Part 2, they have all these characters who look like real people for sure. And in certain scenes, they have conversations, and it's very detailed, like the way their eyes are detailed, their hair, their color of their skin, their clothes that they're wearing, and what kind of backpack they're wearing. Like it's very detailed. The scene is detailed, but there's a time.
Yeah, it is getting close. It's about 12:30, so I think,
Okay.
yeah, you want to take a break here?
Sure. Everyone, we'll take a break here, and we'll be back on the Jones Review soon. So stay tuned, everyone.
We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk
Welcome to the Jones Review.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Jones Review here. This is B. Jones coming at you in the latest video entertainment news. Well, we have here Patrick, who is my producer for today.
Hello, hello.
Are you having fun, Patrick?
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm having fun, too. Well, I would still like to continue to talk about E3 because it's something that everyone needs. Well, not everyone, but if you like video games and if you're interested, it's a great video game convention that you guys should check out. And there's just so many things that in video games that you guys should check out, and they'll announce new games too. And also, they got this new game out called Ratchet and Clank. So it's a great game that everyone should check out for sure. And also, with certain games with Capcom Showcase coming out, Xbox Showcase, Ubisoft Forward, EA Play, and all these other showcases I'm very excited for. And they got so many games coming out with the Tiny Tina Wonderlands, and also they got they got the Final Fantasy 7 remake, Intergrade, which is like a PS5 version of it, out soon. And also, they just got so many great games coming out soon that I'm very excited for. And they also have Metal Slug that's coming out soon, Tactics. And they also have Battlefield 6, which is Battlefield 2042. And also, Summer Game Fest is live right now, too, and they're showcasing new games. But there's so many video game predictions to go off of. But I heard that Dead Space might be returning to E3 and might be returning this year. Because Dead Space is a video game franchise. It's a horror franchise, basically. But basically, you go on this video game journey, play as this guy named Isaac Clarke. And Isaac Clarke is like a space engineer. And, they check out the space station that has gone dark in space, and they check out the space station. And once you get to the space station, all of a sudden you see all these monsters come out and attack people. And you're like, what's going on? They're basically like zombies in a way, or space zombies, but there's it's a cool concept. It just, you basically survive against this zombie space horde, and you have to use your tactics and knowledge as an engineer and craft weapons and everything to fight the zombie horde in space. But it has cool concepts, and also you have a spacesuit too, which you can upgrade along as you play the game and stuff. But I would say Dead Space is a great video game franchise for sure. Hopefully they come back with remasters like Mass Effect. It's also an EA franchise too, so I'm sure that they have something under their sleeves for sure. But there's so many showcases coming out soon, and excuse me.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you. I had to sneeze for a second. Sorry about that. And then also heard that Naughty Dog is making a Last of Us remake. So I'm sure fans aren't too excited for that, but I think they need the remake because they messed up the storyline for Last of Us Part 2. So hopefully that they correct the storyline for sure. And hopefully, I hope Rockstar announces a new GTA game or a new Red Dead game or just a new game in general, because Rockstar, they make quality games. And my favorite game of theirs is GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. Have you heard of those games at all, Patrick?
Red Dead Redemption 2, I believe I've heard of.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Great quality game with stunning graphics, and just the quality alone is just great. And you're playing as a cowboy too, so you have all these revolvers and shotguns and scout rifles, and you ride a horse too. And it basically has a great storyline to it. It tells a very authentic, real storyline that it kind of makes you care about these characters too. And just Also, the graphics are amazing. The graphics are amazing. Then the gameplay is. You can also hunt in the gameplay. You can hunt animals. You can shoot a bow and arrow too.
Nice.
Yeah, and the HDR is on point because the lighting of the game changes as time changes. Like it changes from night and day, and you can tell by like how dark it gets too when it becomes nighttime. And it's just an amazing game. And with GTA 5, on the other hand, it kind of does the same thing, but you're playing as more of a actual person in modern time with cars and with buildings, and you're in Los Santos, and you're playing as these characters, Trevor, Franklin, and I forget the other guy's name, but and Michael. And you play these three characters on this journey of trying to just get money, just trying to get rich, or they're trying to go on top and trying to plan out how to like rob a bank, or how to they strategize in the game how to do that, and they come together as a team, but they have to go against all these obstacles like the not the FBI, but it's like a spoof version of it or something, or how they do it in the game.
Hmm.
And then they got gangs, and then like biker gangs too that they go up against. But yeah, I would say they're great quality games for sure, and I would recommend it to people if they haven't played them yet. And I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is on Game Pass on Xbox right now, so hopefully you guys check it out. And also for E3, hopefully they announced newer games for Rockstar, because they haven't really announced any new games. It's just been leaks or speculations lately of like GTA 6. And I've been hearing that a lot, GTA 6, and how they're going to announce it. Hopefully they announce it this E3, or hopefully some other event that they announce it at. But yeah, it's just a lot to be excited for E3. What are your thoughts on Red Dead Redemption, Patrick?
All I know is of the name. I don't really know much about the actual game. I just see it in the news sometimes.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Well,
unfortunately.
what do they talk about on the news if you heard about it?
Mainly just the release of Red Dead Redemption. It seems to be pretty hyped from what I hear.
Mhm. It definitely is hyped for sure. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's a great game and stuff. Well, anyways, but Red Dead Redemption is a great video game franchise, and hopefully they continue it along the way. And I think I seen on the internet that it was kind of leaked that one of the actors, Roger Clark, who played Arthur Morgan in Red Dead 2, kind of teased Red Dead 3, and he also voices Thor in God of War Ragnarok, which is like the second, or not the second installment, but like God of War 6 basically, but it's the second installment that they did for like a revamp of the franchise that they did a couple years ago. So, but I heard that God of War Ragnarok has been delayed for next year, but that's one of the most anticipated games of Sony, or PlayStation, I should say. Hopefully, Sony announces the new Uncharted game too, which I'm excited for. And yeah, it was. They definitely revamped Uncharted Uncharted 4. It was revamped, and they had better graphics, stunning gameplay. When you play Nathan Drake, you do all these types of obstacles that you jump on, and I think you like jump like onto like different moving cars or something, and then you use a grappling hook to like go over different obstacles, and it's very adventurous and stuff.
Nice.
So hopefully they announce Uncharted 5, which I'm excited for. And also, I really hope they stick to Days Gone 2. Hopefully that's in development. If not, because I heard with Ben Studios, that's the studio that made Days Gone. It basically it's about how it's a apocalyptic game, to where they have zombies that were genetically created through this virus, and these are like zombies that actually evolve, and they talk and stuff. So they kind of like move around like wolves and everything, like in packs. But you play as this guy named Deacon, who's like a Marine vet who lost his woman during the apocalypse, basically, and he's trying to find his woman, and hopefully he does find her in the game, but it just tells an amazing story, just trying to survive in a post-apocalyptic world where the world's just ended and you're just trying to survive.
Yeah.
So hopefully they announce Days Gone 2 for State of Play. Hopefully, I think there was another game too. Hopefully they announced another Infamous game, because I really like Infamous. Infamous is about how people develop powers, and I think they get from a genetically made virus that I think certain people can get powers and certain people can't, and it just had many characters over the years that had. There was one character that had like electrical powers, like they can shoot lightning from their hands or something, and then there's another character that had like powers that they can, or empath, they can just take powers from other people. And I thought that was kind of cool idea. But hopefully they announce a new Infamous game also. I'm just naming all the PlayStation games I named for like E3 predictions and State of Play, what they do. So hopefully, also, I don't know. Hopefully there's another game that I wanted to talk about too. I can't think about the top of my head. Just lost my train of thought. But yeah, E3, which I'm very excited for, because I want to talk about this whole second half of my show, because E3 has a special place in my heart too, because they showcase so many cool games. And I think there's one time I don't know, there's just so many reveals that they done over the years, and people weren't expecting this to happen or that. Or I think when I remember one time at E3 they revealed the revival of God of War, and they showed Kratos, and the whole crowd was screaming and everyone was cheering, "Oh, Kratos is back, Kratos!" And they have this new voice actor, Christopher Judge, and he was on the Stargate TV shows, but he's voicing Kratos now. But I remember that reveal. And then I think I remember one time when they announced Dead Space 3, and fans were going crazy for that too. And I do remember a couple times they had celebrities on at E3, like they had Drake. Have you ever heard of Drake?
I've heard
The
of several
rapper?
Drakes. Drake oh yeah,
Yeah,
I've heard of
he
Drake
was
the
there
rapper.
promoting FIFA, like one FIFA game one time. And then also there was another show, another celebrity they had. They had Usher.
Oh,
Yeah, one
nice.
time promoting Just Dance, and that was kind of cool, because I remember they were just doing dance moves on stage, and Usher was doing his moves, his dance moves, and I wonder what happened to Just Dance. I think they're still making games, but I remember that moment when Usher was at E3 and he was just dancing on the stage, and they were doing a dance move following the game. That was pretty cool. And then I think there's one time when I think they had The Rock on there when he was first debuting as The Rock,
Oh
and
wow.
he like showcased the first Xbox or something. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. And then oh yeah, I remember this one time at Ubisoft Forward, they had Jonathan Berthal, who plays the Punisher, and he was just promoting Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and the way he was promoting it, it just grabs your attention and wants you to pre-order that game. And just the way he was promoting it, and he was just such a great actor. But he was so like confident in what he said and everything, and it was pretty cool. And I can't think of any other celebrities that showed at E3. I think Jordan Joseph or something. I think that's his name. He was at Ubisoft promoting his new song for Beyond Good and Evil 2. I remember that for sure. So
Very
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Oh, also, if anyone wants to participate, the last 4 minutes of the show, you can contact us at 937-775-5555 or by live chat within the show. Also, you can participate on YouTube or Discord if you would like to. But if not, we'll continue to talk about E3. But
Out of curiosity, does E3 showcase indie games?
yes, they do.
Nice.
I gotta say, they're a huge fan of indie games, and that's where I kind of make fun of it sometimes because that's when I call it the boring time of E3 because they have all these big reveals of like these big video game franchises that they show. I mean, they're not boring games, but like you know how it feels when like you've been seeing like a big reveal and then next thing you know there's something small after it. And you're like, what's next? Like, because I'm curious. But yeah, they always do that. Like whenever there's a big video game reveal at E3, they always have an indie game after like these two big reveals. It's an indie game, and then they talk about the game developers talk about their new game, and mainly indie games are really popular still, of course, and they're cool, and I like indie games too. There's times where actually there's a lot of indie games that get video game awards, and video game awards I think they're hosted by Jeff Keighley also that I talked about earlier, and a lot of indie games get video game awards for sure. So, but yeah, they will be at E3 for sure, Patrick. If you tune in,
Very
if you
cool.
want to, but yeah.
Yeah, like indie games, they could be a hit or a miss because, with independent developers, they don't have the backing or the funding that, big studios do. So they have to work with what they got. But sometimes that sparks a creativity that we don't see in the big studios as well. So it really depends on the developer team behind those games and how they utilize the resources that they have to make the games that they do.
That's interesting. Do you have any more questions about E3?
Not that I could think of other than, how could people tune in? When can they, do they stream the E3 conference?
Yeah, they stream it on any platform that you know of, Xbox, PlayStation, also YouTube, Twitch. I'm not sure about Discord, but I think maybe Discord, and then I saw Facebook and then Twitter. But
So they're all over the place.
for sure.
Nice.
So I just hope this is a great show for E3 because I'm very excited for what they need to showcase and what is told for the future of video games.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that it changes over time and hopefully it evolves and hopefully we get out of this drought of delayed video games and just unfinished product video games. Hopefully they finish their video game on time and it's a finished product and it's smooth and it plays well and rarely any glitches or lags, hopefully. And they sometimes do like patches, like updated patches for like certain games if there are bugs in the game or something to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just excited for what is in told for video games as a gamer myself. So just E3 has so many like great video game companies showcasing games, and it's where people just are excited for and stuff. But anyways, it's time to wrap up the show. I hope you guys had a great time listening to my show. Thank you to everyone who listened to my show today, and I hope everyone has a great day today. Next week's episode, I will have a guest this time next week, and we'll be talking about Conjuring and Quiet Place Part 2, and soon I'll probably talk about even more video games. But anyways, thank you, Patrick, for helping me with the show today and for substituting for Scotty. Scotty will be back next Friday or next week, basically, but hope you guys stay tuned for more of the Jones Review. And this is Bailey Jones signing off on the Jones Review.
You're listening to WWSU 106. 96.9